Producer Joe here from the Working Fans Podcast. And at the Working Fans Podcast, this is just a podcast that three lifelong fans created to have a place to talk comedy and pro wrestling. Now, our comedy podcast releases every Tuesday, while our wrestling podcast releases every Thursday. We release bonus episodes under the moniker Working Fans Presents every now and then. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, any major podcast provider. The important thing is just please like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to us. Now, we have started a new thing. We are now on Amazon and Audible. So those episodes release every Monday. And that's kind of going through the archives and just releasing our old episodes in a new area. So if you want to live through the process with us again, take that journey with us again, you can find us over on Amazon and Audible. Now, if you can't get enough of us in the audio form, check out our YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/Working Fans Wrestling Pod, or just search Working Fans Podcast on YouTube. We have the whole archive is up there. And if you listen to the Working Fans Podcast, you are more than familiar with the 531. That is our signature segment where we take your top 5 list on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, and then debate it down to a top 1. Now, guys, if you want to hear 3 guys talk shit about comedy, wrestling, life, anything, you will enjoy the Working Fans Podcast. Fans, welcome back for Working Fans Comedy Cast, episode 35. This week, we're going to talk top comedic cameos in movies. And remember, next week, we will be doing a 531 on top Leslie Nielsen movies. And the week after that will be hilariously bad horror movies. Let me play the intro real quick, and we'll bring in Dave and get this discussion started. Dave, how's it going today?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. Feeling very zenful.
Nice. Now, comedic cameos in movies. I'm going to ask how you came up with this, not out of force of habit, but I had a hard time coming up with a list. So I was wondering, kind of what inspired you to pick this?
I'm not sure I did, actually. I think Chevy might have picked this list. I'm not positive. We were all in a group and we were coming up with lists.
Oh, yeah, we were throwing out ideas.
Yeah.
It's not bad. There are some great comedic cameos in movies. Mm-hmm. But when I was coming up with my list last minute, I was very hard-pressed to think of ones.
Yeah. I was wondering what kind of feedback we got on this. But we did all right. And I'll
tell you what kind of feedback we got. We asked for top 5 lists, and I got a whole bunch of ones.
Well, fuck them. That's why. Let's hear these one-hit wonder bitches.
All right, I'm going to start off with my former meat manager, the guy who runs the meat department in Waterford, Stop and Shop. Tim Ferlin had Liam Neeson in Ted 2, and he had Mike Tyson in Hangover 1, not in Hangover 2.
Okay.
Movic had Martin Sheen in Hot Shots Part 2. And the rest of these are from the Mothership Facebook group that's fans of the 605 podcast on Facebook. First up, Yale Haman had Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, good one.
Amal Pitts had Bob Hope in Spies Like Us and Jamie Kennedy in Harold and Kumar.
Classic.
Jamie Hamm had Henry Winkler in Little Nicky. Ben Rich had Bob Hope in Spies Like Us.
Big Rich.
Harry Priest had Gilbert Gottfried in Beverly Hills Cop 2. Sean McKinney had Jackie Mason in The Jerk. Matt Ryan, not the Atlanta Falcons quarterback, had David Letterman in Cabin Boy.
Oh, okay.
Friend of the show, Jason Gross, had Bill Murray in Zombieland.
Oh, classic.
Obin Johnson also had Bob Hope in Spies Like Us. Mike Gorham had Gene Hackman in Young Frankenstein and about 50 different people in It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World. I share that Mad World sentiment, but I actually went with my favorite of those cameos that you'll hear later. And perhaps one of our biggest responses is from the great Brian Last. Runs the 605 Super Podcast, co-host on the Jim Cornette Experience. He had Rick Moranis as Morty, King of the Mimics in Brewster's Millions.
Oh, yeah. That's some classic films some of these guys picked out here. So when you were going through all that, I actually say I remember one of the things when we picked out this list, Chevy actually had said, can we do cameos? Because Bill Murray was great in Zombieland. And I know that was one of the ones that like kind of kicked it off for us, I think, when we were talking about this. He used it as an example.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but great. I mean, go with Bob Hope, some of those guys did. And Brewster's Millions is a classic movie I haven't even thought about in a long, long time. So good stuff.
Yeah, now I'll bring you my first full list from the Mothership Facebook group. Sean Ryan has Gary Coleman in Dirty Work.
Oh.
Will Ferrell in The Wedding Crashers. The Backstreet Boys in This Is the End, Horatio Sands in Step Brothers, and Neil Patrick Harris in Harold and Kumar.
Thank you. I was trying to think of that one today. I did not make my list. I was like, is it Neil Patrick Harris did one of these? Harold and Kumar. Yeah, excellent.
I wish I had thought of that when I was making my list. It was on the other side of the paper.
Yeah, he was awesome in that. He did both movies. I got a list from comedian, friend of the show, Pat Oates. Pat's got his own podcast too. The
POS. Yeah, there's the POS podcast, and then
Patophiles. We should do our homework before we do this.
We let you down, brother. We fucked up. This is on us. Just Google Pat Oates. Fucking listen to his podcast. He's great guy, even better comedian.
He really is. I might get that out later. Anyway, he's got David Bowie from Zoolander, David Hasselhoff from the SpongeBob movie. And I don't know if this was a comedy movie, but whatever. I gave it to him. Stan Lee in every Marvel movie, because it's great cameo. Stan Lee always put himself in there.
He's usually pretty funny when it happens, because it'll be just like a funny line after something happens, and knowing the guy created it all. We'll give that.
Absolutely. And then we got Bill Murray in Zombieland. And then he put, and I don't remember this cameo. I have to go back and watch it. Vin Diesel from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh.
Don't worry about that. I'll take
there he is. Pat Oates is calling right now, giving us the name of this podcast. But the next list up I got is Evan Ryan Tolley from the Mothership Facebook group. He's got Derek Jeter and the Other Guys, Bill Murray in Zombieland, Chris Farley in Dirty Work, and of course, Bob Barker in Happy Gilmore is a classic.
Bob, that is very good. I wasn't handling business. Bob Barker in Happy Gilmore is fantastic. The price is wrong, Bob. You know, and then Bob Barker did the little Undertaker sit up at one point and grab Sandler by the throat.
Yeah.
Huge fan of that. So I'm getting voicemails on here. Oh man. All right. Folks, hope you appreciate you people appreciate the sacrifices I make for this show. And speaking of sacrifices, another fan of the show and a member of the show, and the guy I believe who created this list, Chevy himself from the Combat Cast I do every Saturday, sent us a list.
Bill Murray at Cheveruni on Twitch.
Yeah, right. Check that out. He's got Bill Murray from Zombieland, like we were talking about earlier. Michael Cera from This Is the End. Jack Black in The Muppets. Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder, which he's excellent in that. And John Hurt from Spaceballs.
Ooh, I saw that on another list I was looking at. I was surprised. I don't remember him in Spaceballs, or I just might not know who that is. Now, Jonathan Meisner from the Mothership Facebook group has Jackie Mason in The Jerk, Richard Pryor in Car Wash, Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors, Rick Moranis in Brewster's Millions, and John Candy in the Blues Brothers.
John, I forgot about that. Another excellent cameo there, too. John Candy's going to make another list here later, I know, too, and some cameos. Forgot John Candy was all about them cameos.
Nice.
Now, we got Jesse from New Hampshire. He's got Bill Murray from Zombieland, Will Ferrell in Wedding Crashers, Mel Brooks in Robin Hood Men in Tights, Jerry Garcia in Half Baked. I forgot about that one. And Chuck Norris in Dodgeball, which I thought was a great cameo, too.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good ones in there. Next up, I got Philip Allen from the Booking the Territory group on Facebook. He's got John McEnroe and Mr. Deeds, Mortimer and his brother from Trading Places.
Oh, fuck yes.
He's got Mike Ditka in Kicking and Screaming and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Airplane.
That's a good one, too. I actually was, when I had originally planned on doing this list, I had those two guys from Trading Places in this, and I forgot about them because they made a couple cameos, too. Now, it wasn't just that. And I think in Coming to America, too, we even see like a painting of them at some point. So those guys just love to sneak into these Eddie Murphy movies. So I always thought that was pretty funny.
Nice.
Big fan. I got Randy Osga. Big fan of the show. Mike Tyson from The Hangover. Will Ferrell from Wedding Crashers. Chuck Norris from Dodgeball. Tim Robbins in Anchorman. Tom Cruise and Austin Powers Goldmember. And Matt Damon in Europe Trip. Also, Beyonce Knowles was in Austin Powers. Wait, was she? She might have been actually one of the. She wasn't a cameo. She was actually a co-star. I forgot about that. Never mind.
There was a couple.
Britney Spears. I think.
Yeah, there was a couple of things that like I wasn't sure if it was a cameo in a movie, and then I thought about it. I go, nah, that was more like a minor role.
Remember Danny DeVito? I think he was like mini me in that, like for the movie. Like they were playing the movie Austin Powers inside the movie Austin Powers. And he's like, I'm mini me. Ah, I don't know. That's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, there was a couple of people I saw.
Yeah, and Anchorman
now,
too.
the next list I'm going to bring you. Oh, the next list I was going to bring you is mine. I've got obviously Bob Barker and Happy Gilmore. I chose the Jack Benny cameo in It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World, even though there's hundreds of comedic cameos in that. I got Bob Saget in Half Baked.
Yes.
Will Ferrell in The Wedding Crashers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know that I picked that. Jesus.
The Meatloaf!
A couple minutes ago.
We want it now!
And then anybody that knows me knows my love of hip hop, knows my love of Kanye West. So I had to include Kanye West in Anchorman 2.
Oh, okay. I never saw Anchorman 2. So
you're missing out.
It holds up. Try not wearing a bra next time. That's from Anchorman 1. I used to say that to Cran. Anyway, that's another funny story. My ex-wife at one point had, she wasn't my ex-wife yet, but she worked with us, and she had more like this is probably so inappropriate for the podcast, but basically, this
is what the people come for.
Yeah, she was looking pretty good this day, I remember Cran said to me the next day, she gave a whole new meaning to try not wearing a bra next time. I was always like, fucking Cran.
That's my wife, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. I knew he had a thing for her. Anyway. Cran's a great dude, by the way. Maybe I'm not telling that story in the best light, but we love you, Cran. Shout out to Cran.
Thank God that's not his government name, or else people would be sending him hate tweets and shit.
Yeah. Cran did not send us a list, but Michael Flynn did.
We just decided to besmirch his good name here.
Yeah. Next time, send the list. Even I don't ask you, just send one.
Bitch.
He's got Mike Flint, though. Mike Flint's got Bill Murray from Zombieland, Matt Damon from Eurotrip, Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder, John Candy in Home Alone, and Mike Tyson in Hangover. So John Candy getting on twice.
Yeah, I have a feeling the top 3 portion of this is going to be difficult because we've got like so many far-reaching ones.
Yeah. That
it's like there's only going to be a couple that show up on every list.
I feel Bill Murray.
We got next up, we got Yep. Next up, we got Anthony DeSalvatore. He's got the T-1000 in Wayne's World, all the news people in Anchorman, Chuck Norris in Dodgeball, Burt Bacharach and Elvis Costello and Austin Powers. And then his last comment was, plus they had a bunch in the first few scary movies that were priceless in no particular order.
Okay. I got our boy, Scott from Voluntown. He's got Bill Murray from Zombieland, Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder, Robert Patrick in Wayne's World, John Hurt in Spaceballs, Jay Muse in Feast, and Matt Damon as in Eurotrip as an honorable mention.
Wow. Jake Rule even on that one.
Yeah, my man coming through. That's it for me other than myself. What do you got?
Yeah, my last list is 3. Chris Keese has Weird Al in the Naked Gun movies, Reggie Jackson in the Naked Gun.
Rich!
I must kill the queen is the quote he had after that. And then Enrico Palazzo in the Naked Gun. This motherfucker just likes the Naked Gun movies.
Up here, he's going to be ready for our Leslie Nielsen list next week then. Make sure
yeah, watch him not even include it. Like, nah, that was trash in Leslie Nielsen's world.
You better get him. Make sure you message him directly if he doesn't respond. Yo, bro.
Chris Keese, we're getting in the ass for that Leslie Nielsen.
Clap them cheeks. You ready, son?
Yeah. Bill Murray and Zombieland obviously made the cut.
You know what else we got to do? Let me give my list. Hold on.
Oh, I thought you said you were out of list.
No, I said I just got myself left. Hold on.
I wasn't even listening. I just ate
time. Yeah. Typical big player Joe here. All right. I got Bill Murray from Zombieland. He also dies in this. I think that's pretty cool. Will Ferrell from Red Hook Crashers. The Meatloaf. We want it now. Girls at funerals are so horny. It's not even fair. It's like fishing with dynamite. Great lines. Chuck Norris in Dodgeball. Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. I'm going to get back to that one in a second, too. And Mike Tyson in The Hangover. Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder, again, a lot of people picked that. I picked it. But in retrospect, too, I kind of agree. I think it might have been a minor role. He was all dressed up. Like, you couldn't tell who he is. But he was in the film a decent amount, I thought. And you could almost even argue that with Mike Tyson, too. But anyway.
Yeah, now, obviously, Bill Murray and Zombieland made a lot of lists. I felt like I heard a lot of Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking around now. I mean, Tom Cruise definitely made some lists. Oh, man. Will Ferrell and
let's give it to
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell and the Wedding Crashers is that third spot.
All right, so let's argue for a minute because Bill Murray was in a ton of these lists. Let's just start looking at the best. All right, let's think about this for a second. All right, so we got Bill Murray, we got Tom Cruise, and we got Will Ferrell.
3 powerhouse actors, by the way.
Yes. Now, Will Ferrell, I think, I'm not saying we should go with him. I think he has some of the more quotable lines out of this. You know, that mom, the meatloaf, all that shit is like people fucking repeated that all the time. You know, it was gold. Yeah. Tom Cruise by far steals the fucking show to me in terms of like, he's not even like, you know, like you had to listen to the voice, right? Like, you know, for me, I remember like I was in that theater watching Tropic Thunder, which is a great movie, by the way. But I remember I was thinking like, who the fuck is that guy? And I figured it out. And I whispered to my then girlfriend at the time, and she was like, no fucking way. And then, of course, the credits, and she's like, unbelievable. And I'm like, yeah, bitch. That's right. We're getting that ass later.
Yeah, who's retarded now, bitch?
Yeah, that's right. I ain't retarded.
Dave doesn't talk to women like that anymore. He's cleaned up his act.
Absolutely. Plus, I didn't get in that ass. I assure you that. She didn't let me. But and I don't do that. But anyway, so I think that Bill Murray was fantastic. It's very memorable. We had him on his list, but I don't think it. I think he needs to be the first to go. Honestly, as much as I love him, and I think Bill's my favorite actor out of the 3, and Tom's great, but like. And Will's great too, but like I think Bill and Tom are the better actors. I just think that cameo, as good as it was, and he's playing himself, I think Will Ferrell was a little more quotable, and I think Tom Cruise was just a better all performance.
Yeah.
And I think we need to argue out what means more. And I think in this case, I'm going to go with performance. I think.
I mean, you got to. It can't just be based on names, like, or like just your feeling of the actor. Like, we all love Bill Murray as a comedian. Probably even more like the more you hear about him as a person. But when you're going just with cameos, like you said, Will Ferrell super quotable, and Tom Cruise just amazing performance.
He stole that movie with a limited time, you know, and to put like a wrestling tag on it, like he made the most of his minutes. Right? Yeah, X amount of minutes, and he fucking stole the show.
I mean, if it were up to me, I would have to go with Will Ferrell. Tom Cruise cameo as much right now. It's been a little bit since I've seen Tropic Thunder, so my personal feeling would be Will Ferrell.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we're just going with favorites, I mean, I'm trying to give it to Tom because I felt like he stole the show, but I just watched Wedding Crashers too, though, so I was trying to dismiss recency bias. But fuck it, Will Ferrell it is. Suck our dicks, Tom Cruise. Just kidding, Tom. We love you. If you ever happen to see this, get at us.
Well, do you think, so you would say that Tom Cruise's performance is better?
I just think he stole the show. Yeah, I mean, because it was a completely different guy. Like, he just, you know, he had the makeup and everything. He was bald. He was fat. And, like, you know, it was just something, I don't know. It was totally outrageous. I loved it, though.
Well, Dave, let's take it a different direction. The music's playing. You know what that means. We're going to give it to Tom.
People decide.
Yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments what you think. Was Will Ferrell's cameo better than Tom Cruise's?
Yeah, message me.
You know, get at us on social media. You know where to find us. We don't fucking hide.
Yeah, get at our ass. Clap our cheeks.
Guys, we will talk to you later.